Hi everyone. Okay, in this video I've got several older films to talk about and I wonder, have you seen them? Let's go. Okay, first up I have this one, The Maze from 1953, described as an atmospheric horror movie, but actually it's one that'll just leave a smile on your face because it's quite laughable. But yeah, this one stars Richard Carlson, who starred in The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it also stars Veronica Hurst, and this was directed by William Cameron Menzies, and it was his final film as a feature director. William Cameron Menzies had a prolific career as an art director and a production designer, and he also directed the likes of Invaders from Mars and Things to Come. This film was originally intended in 3D. The DVD I have here is not in 3D, but yeah, really terrific print here by Kino Lorber. Yeah, a fun movie, this one. It is ridiculous though. That is the thing that makes it quite charming. It involves a couple who are about to get married. They're just 2 weeks away from their marriage, and they're in Florida when the fiance, Richard Carlson, gets word that his uncle, who lives in a Scottish castle, is not well, and so he immediately leaves the scene to go back to this Scottish Highlands and go and see his uncle to see how he's doing. Only a week later, his fiancée is concerned that she hasn't heard from him. And this is back in the 50s, so there wasn't emails or anything like that. But yeah, there's no response to a telegram and he hasn't written, and it's only been a week. So she gets concerned about the relationship, and even her aunt sort of says, oh, you should forget about him because he probably doesn't care about you anymore. So it's really quite funny. But yeah, she decides, no, something's wrong. I'm going to go back and I'm going to see how he is. So both her and her aunt do make their way back to Scotland, and they visit this rather atmospheric castle that's in the Scottish Highlands. And whilst they are there, things are very, very strange. Her fiancé has suddenly aged in looks, and his whole demeanour and manner towards her is completely different. Not only that, but they get locked in their rooms at night, and there's a maze outside which they're warned they cannot go into. Now, I won't spoil the rest of this for you, but safe to say there is an ending to this movie which you just will not see coming, and it is really quite remarkable. So like I say, this is not scary at all, but it definitely will make you chuckle. The script is quite daft, but it is just charming and entertaining. Like I say, this is William Cameron Menzies' final film from 1953, The Maze. Next up, from 1954, we've got this great western, The Violent Men, and this stars Glenn Ford, and what a great supporting cast. He's got Edward G. Robinson, Barbara Stanwyck, Brian Keith and Richard Jekyll in this, and it's directed by Rudolph Mattei, who 2 years earlier had directed Glenn Ford in this film, The Green Glove, which coincidentally was the very first film I watched of 2025. But yeah, The Violent Men, this is great stuff. So Glenn Ford in this one plays an ex-Confederate Army officer who's planning to just leave town with his fiancée and move east. He just wants to leave the area. He hasn't got any great sense of belonging there. However, before he's able to leave, he gets drawn into a really vicious land grab battle. So Edward G. Robinson is a landowner who really wants everyone's properties so that he can expand his ranch and become all-powerful. Brian Keith is his brother, and he has a few schemes and plans himself. Barbara Stanwyck is Edward G. Robinson's wife in this, and she's also having a relationship with the brother, Brian Keith, and also has her eye on Glenn Ford. So there's relationship stuff going on here. There's lots of scheming and plotting, lots of gunplay. Richard Jekyll, like I say, is in this as a hired hand for Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, plenty of shootouts, plenty of action. This is really quite exciting stuff. Melodrama in this as well. I really enjoyed this. The Violent Men. Next, from 1956, we've got this fun little thriller, which only 70 minutes long, and it's directed by William Whitney, a director who did a number of westerns and also adventure serials, such as Daredevils of the Red Circle. But yeah, this one is a lot of fun. Again, with a plot that is a little bit ludicrous, but just go with it and enjoy yourself. So here we have a very pretty woman who's staying in a motel, and she's charming the motel attendant there, who also happens to be a real fanatic of hot rod racing. Now, she's waiting for 3 musician friends to show up, except they're not really that. They are robbers, and they've got a armoured truck robbery that they have planned out, except only 2 of them show up, and so they need a driver. And who's that going to be? Yes, they kidnap the motel attendant, and off they go with their robbery, and then they have to escape up into the mountains and staying at a cabin where they then have other difficulties that they have to face and some rivalry amongst them all. So yeah, this, like I say, is quite ludicrous, but it really zips along. There's some fun driving in here, some nice cars, and some really good little adventure that happens up in the mountains. I really liked the actress that was in this, Marla English, who is this sort of femme fatale, if you like. I hadn't seen her before, but yeah, she really stood out to me. Another actress in this is Joan Evans, who also starred in the Audie Murphy western, No Name on the Bullet. But yeah, because of watching A Strange Adventure with Marla English, that led me to another film, which I'll talk about now. So yes, seeing Marla English in A Strange Adventure led me to look up more of her films, and that led me to this next movie, Shield for Murder, from 1954, a film that stars Edmund O'Brien, who is the star of this film, DOA. And interestingly, it's also his first film as a director, co-directing with famed producer Howard Koch, who also produced movies such as The Odd Couple and The Manchurian Candidate, and he directed this one as well, Badge 373, starring Robert Duvall. But yeah, Shield for Murder really was a surprise for me. I loved it. Very gritty and quite brutal thriller, this one. So Edmund O'Brien playing a kind of aging, near retirement, corrupt cop who takes down a bookies runner and steals $25,000 from him, and then makes it look as though the guy was trying to evade arrest and shoots him, except he's witnessed in the act. And so this becomes a situation where Edmund O'Brien, he has his girlfriend, played by the beautiful Marla English. He wants to just get away and retire with her, but he's on the run now because the police are investigating, and one of the investigating sergeants is also a very close friend of his. So yeah, there's quite a lot of tension and excitement in this. There's also private investigators involved, one of which is played by Claude Akins. And in particular, there's one scene in this movie which is brutal. Claude Akins takes a real beating, and it really reminded me of scenes from Goodfellas, except this is a movie from 1954. But yeah, this was exciting stuff. A really good performance from Edmund O'Brien. Marla English is good in this. I do prefer her performance in A Strange Adventure. But yeah, I had a good time with Shield for Murder. Next, we've got this movie from 1929. It is a silent movie, The Informer. Now, perhaps this is better known as the 1935 film that was directed by John Ford, starring Victor McLaglen. It was an Oscar-winning film. But although I haven't seen that film yet, and I would really like to, I have to say this silent movie from 1929 is a masterpiece. I absolutely love this. It's brilliantly shot and tremendously acted. 3 main characters in this. We're set in 1922 in Ireland. The trouble's going on. They don't talk about the IRA. It's called the Party. But yeah, they're involved with their standoffs against the police. And in one shootout moment, accidentally, the chief of police is shot. And the party member that was involved with that, he is basically told by the party that he'll just need to leave town and go and lay low. However, he has a sweet spot for a woman, Kate, and he wants to be able to take her with him. And there is another party member, Jippo, who sees the two of them together, but he's very jealous because he also loves Kate. And so he decides that he's going to give up Francis to the police because there's now a reward out for the killing of a chief of police. So yeah, he gives him up and things do not go very well. Now I don't want to give lots of spoilers, but basically things do not go well for Francis. There is clarity later on that Kate does not feel for Francis the way that Jippo thinks she does, and then Jippo himself is overcome with feelings of betrayal and jealousy and guilt and a need for redemption. This is absolutely terrific stuff. It is so well acted. Like I say, the cinematography on this is brilliant. I watched the silent version, which has a great new score on it from Garth Knox. Now there is the talkie version. They did make a talkie version as well, and I've only seen a little sample of that, but I must admit I'm not too keen to watch the talkie version. I think the silent version is absolutely brilliant. Really, really good performances. I loved The Informer. Next, from 1937, we've got a big dose of melodrama here with Stella Dallas, directed by King Vidor and starring Barbara Stanwyck in an Oscar-nominated role for her. So yeah, this is very entertaining. Definitely if you like movies such as Mildred Pierce, then this may be the movie for you. Really, really enjoyed this one. Absolutely terrific performance from Barbara Stanwyck. She plays a sort of lower class woman, if you like, who ends up marrying the wealthy owner, manager of the local mill. But she does so more because it's a convenience for him, because he felt he lost out to a woman that he previously loved. And for her, it's an opportunity for her to be able to have a daughter and give her daughter the kind of life that she never had. But yeah, the marriage is set to have troubles, and also there's no escaping her background and her class and how she is seen amongst society. So yeah, lots of melodrama in this, but yeah, like I say, absolutely terrific performance from Barbara Stanwyck. Interestingly, on this DVD, it said it had a little featurette included in it, but when I watched the featurette, it actually turned out to be the full 1925 silent movie of this film as well. And equally, that film is just as impressive. It does have a few different scenes, but mostly is very similar to this one. But again, that one is really well acted as well. So I really enjoyed both of these. This was also remade in 1990, starring Bette Midler. But yeah, Barbara Stanwyck here, terrific performance. Stella Dallas. And finally, from 1957, we've got a terrific B-movie. It's a heist movie, and it's called Plunder Road, directed by Hubert Cornfield. And really fascinatingly with this one, it has absolutely fantastic cinematography by the great Ernest Haller, who also did cinematography on such classic movies as Gone with the Wind, Rebel Without a Cause, Mildred Pierce, Jezebel, you name it, loads of classics. So this is a heist movie. It involves men who are stealing gold bars from a train, and then they have an escape plan where they plan to split into 3 groups and then head off in various trucks with the gold so as to try and make their getaway. Now, this is again quite an absurd kind of story. It has no way it's going to work out well for any of them, so you know that as you're going along. But again, this is a movie that just zips along. Again, it's quite short, 70 minutes, and it really, really grips you from the start, because that opening scene, which is all filmed at night in rain, and it has the men using a fire engine truck and another truck and ladders and a special kind of explosion device. So they're having all this set up to get on top of a moving train to do this robbery. Like I say, this beginning is so well shot and really gripping. So you're grabbed right from the start, your attention is there, and then you're happy to just watch this story play out. Like I say, it does get quite ludicrous, but nonetheless, it's fun. So yeah, Plunder Road from 1957. Okay, have you seen any of those? Are you interested in any of those? Let me know your thoughts and comments. Please like, subscribe. I will be coming back with more videos. I will be having a bit of a break, probably during September for various reasons, but I will be back. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments. Hope to see you again. All the best. Bye-bye.